All right, so if we're going to do a collaborative write for this prompt about Little Man or Cassie, the first thing before you get into collaborative writing, you would have to have already read chapter 1. Okay, so that is the thing you need to do with your students to prepare. So maybe you've read it aloud and you've discussed it. Maybe if students have sticky notes or if they have a copy of it on paper for some reason and they can write on it. I just wanted to show you something called a BWA that I like to do. It's called before, while, after. Before we read, we start to think about the gist, or in this case, we probably would read the chapter and we would think about the gist, okay? We would think about who did what, where, when, what happened in this chapter. We might say it out loud. We might generate ideas and put them in a chart, but we would think about the gist. Then the second thing, if I know students are going to be responding to a prompt, I do make a do what chart, maybe even before reading with them. And so we look at the prompt and I say, in chapter 1 today, when you're done, you're going to have to describe the character traits of Little Man or Cassie. So today you're going to read closely for one of those characters and choose. So maybe in some cases, students will have already, gone into the chapter and have chosen maybe, hey, I'm going to focus on Little Man when I'm reading today. Maybe not. It's just a suggestion, something to consider. Then, while they read, they are going to be boxing, key vocabulary, and squiggling important evidence. So if I knew I was reading about character traits and thinking about what character I wanted to focus on, I might be putting sticky notes in there, or I might be boxing vocabulary that helps me understand certain character traits. Then when you're done, you go back and you sift through the text again, and you put stars by key ideas. And you also pre-organize your ideas. So this is where you might jot notes on the side. Now, this is just one strategy, and again, it means before you read, while you read, and after. And a lot of times, if we're reading an article, I do this strategy prior to a collaborative write. Or in this case, you could do a sticky note strategy if students have their books, having them mark maybe Little Man or Cassie's actions, what they're saying, like different things that have to do with the character traits. So that is something you would do prior to a collaborative write. So now I'm in a model like the first part of a collaborative write. Remember, you would go through all of power with your students, and in this case, I'm only going to model the P and the O of power just because of time. I do have the other parts modeled in a document for you. So we would start by saying, all right, class,